just discovered if I need to talk to you, I need to switch the microphone on. Oh my goodness me, Demanio lives. This is Keith Hayes with Rouser Radio in Lewis, first cock-up of the day. It is now 6:31 as we play Ben Sound's Buddy to start the day and to start Rouser Radio. Heat wave on the way, they say. Well, my apologies for this very bad start to the day, but nothing is working this morning. The cursor won't move the buttons, and the buttons won't be moved, and so on and so forth. So we better do a little bit of talk before we get cracking and try hard to play some music. Esoteric music, but rather nice music. It comes from the YouTube library, audio library in the main, because that's where aspiring composers like to display their work, and they like people like us to use them so that they can be heard. In other words, they want to showcase what they write and what they sing and what they compose, and quite rightly too. And it's potty little stations like this one, which is Radio Rouser, out of Lewis in the county of East Sussex on the south coast of the United Kingdom. And we're the people that use these things, and some of it is very good, some of it is strange. But what I do is I pick out 3 or 4 each morning and play them without having heard them, so that you can join me in deciding whether they're okay or not. Yeah, some of it's okay, some of it's a bit strange, but then this whole program is strange. The big debate in the pub is are we actually esoteric? Are we just a little bit different, or are we bloody weird? More people plump for weird than you can shake a stick at. Anyway, it's Radio Rouser coming out of Lewis in East Sussex. It's 6:34 in Lewis. I hope it's the same time where you are, but if it's not, you're in a different time zone, and welcome to having a little listen. How long you'll listen, I have no idea, because it's madness itself here. But nonetheless, we're on the air, and we're going to stay on the air for the next 25 minutes. We only broadcast for half an hour a day. To see what's going on. The heat wave there is on the way. In fact, yesterday, one forecast is that it would go to 99 degrees. I'm not sure why not 100, but anyway, 99 degrees is bloody hot. So be prepared, because we just don't get that sort of heat. The last time I experienced that sort of heat was in northeastern Nigeria, and that was just a few years ago. And hot is hot. So do take care to protect yourself, and sometimes it's not the immediate effect. Yes, you can burn and you can go and dab yourself with this, that and the other and put the oils on, but do be careful of the long-term effects if you actually spend too much time outside, because not all is apparent immediately. It starts to get to you with cancer and that sort of thing later on, so do be careful. By the same token, let's enjoy the sun. It's so nice being almost continental and sitting outside because of lockdown, sitting outside a pub, having a drink, being arm's length, or a metre or 2 metres or 35 yards or whatever it is, from the next group of people, and watching the world go by. Nothing can be nicer. However, lockdown is going to have its losers as well as its winners. Who the winners at the moment are, we can't tell. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But some of the losers, according to one paper this morning, are those who were very religiously stayed locked down, who confined themselves to make sure that nobody else got hurt. And if anything that is shown by this lockdown, it is the perversity of a silly, silly government run by silly, silly children. And that's who they are. They're children. Some of their decisions are quite remarkable. Just quite silly. First thing is we're going to plaster the whole country with houses. Now, which daft idea is that? At a time when the whole sentiment of the world is about conservation, and we, in this country, get on the backs of the South American farmers for logging down the rainforests, and what are we going to do? Destroy our own environment. This absolute obsession that everybody must have a house. Well, it's a nice idea, but if you haven't got the room, and if you're going to destroy everything else that is good in your society, you've got to find another way. I'm sorry, but just bombing ahead because it seems to be popular isn't the way forward. Children everywhere. And I'm afraid that this idea that over 50s don't make a contribution is, well, I think we'll probably show them at the next election what sort of contribution they make. First of all, I'm not going to vote for anybody under 50. So trot out your young ladies and trot out your young men and your smart suits, and I will run in the other direction when I get to the polling booth. What idiocy! What idiocy is going on? It's just remarkable that we can have people who think this way. But of course the trouble is, we've been talking about bubbles and joking, I'm in your bubble. But they live in a bubble. They are so far removed from what's going on in their own constituency and why they're there. This is why we need drastic reform. We need people back in control who have a sense of duty, who are trying to look after people and look after themselves. Ho, ho, ho. You choose between paying some money that will give the community a benefit of some kind and upping the salary or buying a bird bath for an MP, and you know which way they'll vote every time. I'm sorry, there are some good MPs, of course there are. It's the same as any society or organisation. The trouble is that the good ones aren't getting to the top. It's the idiots that are getting into the cabinet. The lightweights. That's where the reform has got to start. A bloody examination to get them in. Something of the sort. Anyway, there we go. Ha ha. It's 8:41. No, it's not. It's 6:38, and we're 8:46 minutes into this broadcast. But let's go. It's never sunny in Philadelphia. I wonder what that's all about. Let's find out. Well, come on, don't say we're not modern. I'm not quite sure what that was all about to my ear, but undoubtedly there are some youngsters who think that that's terrific, and I suppose that it is in its own way. But that's not the sort of stuff that appeals to me necessarily, and I think that we'll find something else to play the next track. Let's get with the lingo. The next track that we find to put on Rouser Radio in Lewis. I was just talking about homes and so on and so forth, but I do feel sorry for those people who are homeless through no fault of their own. The trouble is, that once again, I'm going to have a real go at the establishment this morning, because they don't hire people or they don't train people to find out who are the homeless because they are made homeless beyond their control, and the homeless who just decide that they want to sponge off society. Is that there is no way of telling the difference. I'm sure there is a way of telling the difference. It's just that I don't bother. Everybody's lumped into the same thing. Then they put them into hostels. Oh, I'll tell you, you never want to go and live in one of those places. Sleep with your Magnum by your side. Your Beretta. You think like James Bond. Not all of them, of course. I'm generalising, but I do know one that is. It's not a nice place, and it's not a nice place to live in, and yet it's supported by the local council for the homeless. Chuck them in there. I feel guilty because I've met 2 or 3 decent people. I must say that I've been treated courteously by our local MP, Maria Caulfield. Not sure that she can do much for me with the problems that I'm facing, but she has been courteous, and she's certainly got back to me, and she's tried hard to find some solutions. And there's a lovely lady at Lewis District Council in the Finance Department who has been more than kind, almost to the point of letting me cry on her shoulder. I haven't cried on anyone's shoulder for years and years and years and years, but somehow lockdown brought a bit of a nasty situation for me, and I found somebody who at least realised what the problem was and tried to do something about it. But generally speaking, and there's one lovely lady that I go shopping with. I won't mention her because not only would she be embarrassed, but also she thinks that her workmates might dump on her if she gets undue praise, but she's a lovely lady, and before lockdown I used to go shopping with her once every other Saturday morning, and good fun she is. There we are. After that, a bunch of deadbeats, a bunch of people who have no initiative, no imagination. Give me the form, let me sign the form. You're in trouble, there's a form for it, and if there's not a form for it, we'll make a form for it. And if we make that form and it doesn't work, tough, we'll come back. What? This will take 2 years to implement? So what? Live on the streets. Ha ha ha! Oh, you can tell the mood I'm in this morning. Let's have a go at the civil servants. Oh, I know that's an all-embracing word too. I keep on trying to apologise this morning, but I really can't, because in the main, the majority are just a waste of space. They get an inflated salary for doing sweet you-know-what all. All right, that wasn't so hot, I don't think. Let's see, I chose another one this morning called Dynamite. Let's see what Dynamite has about it. Let's see if it's dynamic. Let's see if it's going to blow us through the roof.